We woke up this morning to the news that it is in fact happening on the 19th of December, 2025, live on Netflix, no pay-per-view, just a subscription required. I believe 300 or so million subscribers all across the world. It's Jake versus Joshua, as they're dubbing it, Judgment Day, a professional heavyweight bout, 8 rounds, 10-ounce gloves, Jake Paul versus Anthony freaking Joshua. Kaseya Center, Miami, Florida. Professional bout, I repeat. No exhibition, none of that meshugas. The only stipulation, if you will, is that it has been revealed via MVP in their press release that Joshua cannot weigh more than 245 pounds. Now, the last time Joshua weighed under 245 pounds was his fight against Alexander Usyk, his second fight against Alexander Usyk back in August of 2022. Since then, wins over the likes of Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, Otto Wallin, Francis Ngannou. And the last time we saw Anthony Joshua fight was back in September of 2024, Wembley Stadium, the fight against Daniel Dubois, the fight in which he lost via knockout in the 5th round. One of the great experiences of my life to be there in person. And who would have thought a year and a half later, less than a year and a half later, his return would be against one Jake Paul. Now, how did we get here? Of course, we know that Jake Paul was supposed to fight Tank Davis this past weekend. He was supposed to fight Tank Davis on Friday. About 2 weeks or so ago, that fight was canceled after multiple incidents popped up regarding Tank Davis, a lawsuit, domestic violence, allegations, assault, all this stuff and more. Yes, he had a history, but finally MVP and Netflix decided to pull the plug. Now, some people said it was due to poor ticket sales. Whatever the case may be, they pulled the plug. They didn't want to be in business with him anymore. They didn't want to go through with the fight, and so they said, we're not doing it. As they were saying that, in the immediate aftermath of it all, they did in fact say, we are going to try to salvage this Netflix opportunity. We're not going to let this go into 2026. We're not going to let this drag out. We want to get the fighters on this card an opportunity to fight by the end of the year. There's a lot of MVP fighters on the card. Obviously, there were some PBC fighters as well, but there were the likes of Alicia Baumgartner and Sugar Neeks that were on the card that they wanted to keep on the card in order to get them fights, get them opportunities and whatnot. And so they were talking to multiple people, and it did in fact seem like Anthony Joshua was a possibility. They had talked about Anthony Joshua in the summertime, and then the plan was laid out that they would fight Tank first, and then they would fight Joshua. Jake was saying, I'll fight the smaller guy, then fight the bigger guy. Obviously, it was revealed that a reach out occurred to see if Francis Ngannou was interested. He made it very clear that he was not interested. Nate Diaz said that, he was interested by all accounts, and I know that was bandied about. It seemed like of all the possibilities, Terrence Crawford's name was mentioned, Ryan Garcia's name was mentioned. It did seem like of all the possibilities, the one that seemed like the biggest long shot was Anthony Joshua. But then mid last week, the Ring reports that this fight is being close to finalized. Eddie Hearn says that it's a little premature. Although, as we talked about on the show, when he said that, hey, I don't think he's that crazy. I don't think Jake's that crazy. It felt like there was a little promotional twist to it all, and you wouldn't talk that talk if this wasn't a real thing. And as the week went on, as we were getting to Benn Eubank 2, it did seem like this was dominating the talk. It did seem like a lot of people in the UK were very interested. Then we get to the broadcast, and Eddie and Turki Al-Sheikh are talking about, hey, we've got a big plan for AJ. He's going to fight in February or so. Then he's going to fight back into the year. He's going to come back. He'll have a tune-up fight. Oh, by the way, there might be another fight, and there might be a Fury fight down the line. There's all this stuff. And then it was also revealed that he was planning to fight in December, perhaps in Africa, against a lesser-known opponent, just like a tune-up fight, a 10-rounder, just to shake off the cobwebs, just to, shake off the rust, and that would set him up for the big Tyson Fury fight. When they were talking on the broadcast about February, when they were talking about 2 fights next year, like, all right, is he going to take another fight? Well, we find out this morning that he is in fact going to take this fight, and this has sparked all kinds of talk. Everyone in the boxing world, everyone in the combat sports world, and obviously in the UK, it's a gigantic deal because Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest stars and sportsmen to come out of the UK in the past 15 or so years. Of course, Olympic gold medalist, two-time unified champion. His last fight was for the belt at Wembley. Still one of the biggest stars in the UK. And now he is coming back to fight Jake Paul, of all people. Who would have thought? Not that long ago, Anthony's critical of Tyson Fury fighting Francis Ngannou. Now, two of his last three fights will be against Francis and Jake Paul, of all people. This is a massive leap from, the fights of yesteryear where he was fighting, the likes of Usyk and Dubois and being in the Tyson Fury mix. Now, a lot of people have said, well, if he doesn't knock him out the way in which he knocked out Francis Ngannou, he's a sham, this is a sham, this is all rigged. A lot of people said if Jake wins, this is a sham, this is rigged. A lot of people said if he goes the distance with Jake, this is a sham, this is all rigged. Some people are saying even before it was finalized, Gareth on our show, although he folded quite quickly when he was face-to-face with Eddie at the open workouts. I saw that on IFL TV, I do believe, saying that his legacy is already in question as a result of taking this fight. Now, I'm surprised that people like Gareth say this. Look, this may not be your cup of tea. You can say, I want to see Anthony Joshua fight other heavyweights. I want to see him fight the likes of, Joseph Parker. I want to see him fight Marvin Bakoli. I want to see him fight Caballel. I want to see him fight Zhilei Zhang. I want to see him fight Hrgovic. I want to see him fight Tyson Fury, Dubois again, and the list goes on and on. The heavyweight division hasn't been this interesting in quite some time. Surely there's someone for him to fight. You can say that, and I would say, I get it. I get it. But to suggest that his legacy is being ruined by just taking this fight is absolute nonsense. Lest we forget, in 1976, the heavyweight champion of the world and the most famous boxer on the planet was a man named Muhammad Ali. He went to Japan to fight in a mixed rules bout against a pro wrestling legend named Antonio Inoki. We're not going to get into the whole history of the bout, but did that ruin his legacy? Did anyone hold that against him? Has anyone thought lesser of him because of that? In 1975, a year prior, a man by the name of George Foreman, coming off the loss to Muhammad Ali. We have the poster somewhere. Where is it? Right over there. George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, 15-round fight. The Rumble in the Jungle in Africa. I realize that I'm pointing at something that you cannot see, but trust me, that fight happened in 1975. He lost that fight. He was devastated. His next appearance in a ring was at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, where he fought 5 jobbers on the same night. Not at the same time, but on the same night, he fought 5 different people. And you could go on and on with the likes of Jack Johnson, even going back to that, where boxers, whether they took paydays, the bags, whatever you want to say, they had fun little freak show fights, fun little circus fights, whatever you want to call any of this. Prize fighters are prize fighters, and prize fighters will do prize fighter-like things. This is no different. And so let's be very clear. If you feel like, hey, I'm an AJ fan, I'd rather him fight top-tier guys, that's fair. That is 100% fair. If you feel like he is ruining his legacy by taking this fight, that is not fair. That is absolutely not fair, because it has happened time and again, and guess what? He isn't the heavyweight champion of the world. He's not even close to being the heavyweight champion of the world right now. He is nowhere near that discussion at the moment. At the moment, coming off a knockout loss, he is nowhere near that discussion. So that can't be the knock on him. And now the big question is how the fight goes, because it does feel in some ways they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. If Jake somehow pulls off a Francis Ngannou-like performance and goes the distance but loses, everyone will shit on it. Anything other than an Anthony Joshua second round knockout is going to spark all this nonsense. And I say it's nonsense because I believe it's nonsense. Again, we've seen this with the Isaac Dalgarian situation. I don't believe for a second that the UFC has anything to do with fixing fights. There's way too much at stake. As the great Dana White once said, you know where you go if you fix fights? Do you know where you go?
Federal fucking prison.
That's right. One more time now. Where do you go if you fix fights?
Federal fucking prison.
No one's doing it in the UFC. No one's doing it at TKO. And no one's doing it at MVP or any other boxing promotion. Top tier right now. Jake is a very rich man. Nikisa is a very rich man. Why the hell would they do that? Why would they do that? No one's doing that. I'm sorry. No one is fixing a fight. It's not worth it. Just don't make the fight. You'd be better off just fighting the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s of the world than if you try to fix a fight with Anthony Joshua on Netflix in front of millions of people. Makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And call me naive, and you may say that I'm biased, this and that. Just for the record, I am hosting the press conference on Friday. Just for the record, I don't get a cent from MVP. I don't take as much as a freaking Uber from them. I'm being hired by Netflix and the production company who produces it named Everwonder. You can look them up, and I'm very grateful and thankful to be a part of a big event like this. I don't take a cent. I don't take a Q, a cent, anything. And I've turned down opportunities. They wanted me to host, the Mike Tyson face-to-face with Jake, the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano 2 face-to-face. I said no because I would have had to got paid by them or do it for free. Didn't want to do the latter, so I said no. And then they got the rapper guy with Mace, Cameron, I think, to do it. Was it Cameron? They got someone to do it. Some rapper was doing it, and their rules are different than my rules, and that's all well and good. But I don't think a single person. Now, some people may be like, oh, they're going to do a friendly little dance. And I think they say that because of how the Tyson fight went. I think that was a very, very different situation. And personally, I didn't like the fact that it looked like Jake took it easy on him. From a sporting standpoint, from a humanity standpoint, yeah, I didn't want to see Tyson get hit more at 57. And so him bowing at the end and all that stuff, we were like, oh, the fix was in. No, Tyson was never winning that fight. A 57-year-old doesn't beat someone, even a novice who's Jake's age, late 20s. Just doesn't happen. I will say this, and you could go back and look at it. I was on Logan Paul's show in late August. They asked me when both fights were being discussed, which one do you like more? I said I liked the Joshua fight. And by the way, at the time, I had a feeling the Tank fight was the one that was being made. I was just telling it like it is. Of those two fights, I like the Joshua fight more. And so I'm happy that we are getting the Joshua fight, and I hope we get it after all this. And I just think it's crazy, fascinating theater. I don't know what's going to transpire. And if I'm just a casual Joshua fan, and I'm asking myself, what am I more interested in? A gigantic mega event like this on Netflix, or, fighting just like an unknown guy on an unknown card? Yeah, this is kind of wild. This is kind of crazy. I don't think for a second that he would agree to take part in anything that wasn't above board. And I can't believe that we are actually here talking about this. But I think it's wild stuff. The takes are wild. Jake saying, yes, it's real. And you know how, and here's Anthony saying he's loco man. And you know how you got to tip your cap to the guy for his large cojones? When your biggest rivals, when your biggest haters are giving you props, yeah, there it is. Yeah, fair enough, Jake, from KSI. Meaning like respect. Guys, what do you make of this? Rick, what do you make of this?
Love the fight. Love the spectacle of it. This is what I want to see out of Jake Paul. As far as Anthony Joshua, like, respectfully, to everybody that's out there that's complaining, what is this legacy that he has to protect? I'm not understanding what they're exactly upset about, because I get the sense that if he was to compete against somebody else, right? Like, you're talking about, you don't want to see Anthony Joshua versus XYZ fighter, like an Otto Wallin maybe, like a Robert Helenius, like a Jermaine Franklin. Like, what did those do for his legacy? What are these fights that are out there other than Tyson Fury that everybody is demanding Anthony Joshua take? I'm not understanding what the alternative is. I'm not understanding what these people are so upset about that he's foregoing instead of this. And what he's damaging his legacy with. Because I guarantee if he went out there and lost to one of those other fighters, they'd be the first ones lining up to call him trash, to say he never was, to say that he can't rise up to the moment, that he's a mental midget, and all these other things that you hear every time Anthony Joshua loses. So I really don't understand what this legacy is that he has to protect. This sanctimonious thing that must be that's
the word.
It's nonsense. It's
Can I
bullshit.
tell you the truth? I think that people, this is my honest take, I think that people in the boxing world feel like they have to have this take in order to like save face, in order to preserve whatever street cred they may have in the industry. If you say anything other than this is a farce, this is ruining his legacy, this is a joke, boxing is dead, this is why boxing is in trouble, this is why this, that, and the other, that's just the safe take. As opposed to being like, yeah, I mean, he's a prize fighter, he's only got so many fights left. If he goes out there and fights this guy and starches him in 30 seconds, like, he just made what? We don't know what the number is. I know the 50 number is being thrown around. Even if it's 10, even if it's 20, if it's 15.
If it's double-digit millions, it's pretty damn good.
If it's 1 million, I'm not seeing this take anywhere.
You're not?
Oh, it's all
I
over.
haven't seen it.
Oh,
I think
shit.
UK press everywhere.
Oh my God.
This is an insane garbage take. He's competing in his own sport of boxing. He's getting an easy payday against a guy that's undersized and underskilled against them. And it's going to take, 6 weeks of his life from ink drying on the contract to him walking out of the ring? Like, we're talking about a blip in time. And he can still fight the Tyson Furies. He can still fight everyone after this. What is this ruining his legacy?
Oh my
what
God!
Are we even fucking
it's everywhere.
Go on the UK sites. Go on the UK YouTube channels. Go on TalkSport. All these places. I mean, they are losing their minds.
I'd prefer not to, because his
maybe.
opinions are just meaningless, just like they are to Anthony Joshua.
So
Anthony
sanctimonious.
Joshua does not care. He is getting a massive payday to fight his easiest opponent in how long?
Ever by a million miles?
He might be getting the most amount of money ever for this. We don't know, but it's top
most
tier.
money,
Easy.
least skilled opponent.
In
It's
a way,
the easiest transaction
on
of all time.
Netflix in front of hundreds of millions of people. And if he is able to knock out Jake Paul, like a lot of people think he's going to be able to do, he will be put over on massive levels.
In a way, and yeah, there it is. Back in 2017, look at Anthony Joshua, unified champion, and look at Jake Paul. And everyone loves to do that. I mean, it was 8 years ago, but yes, it is insane.
He himself does it. The Disney kid. He plays it up when
100%,
he
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it with like an NBA rookie who like posterizes LeBron.
Yeah.
8 years ago, they're in fourth grade, and now
Yeah.
it's great to do that. But in a way, I view it as the same as Mayweather McGregor. It's completely different than Mayweather McGregor. But what did we say as far as like the thinking? It's like most amount of money for easiest opponent, right?
Yes.
If you're and it's the prize freaking fighting business, and they will get rid of you as quickly as they idolized you. And Anthony is at the very end. He's maybe got 1-2 fights left, 1-2 years left. Why the hell would he not take this? Now, there were a lot of hurdles. I mean, number one, you see him giving props to DAZN. He's a DAZN fighter.
Yeah.
So you know that there were hurdles there.
Ryan Garcia got shut down, as Oscar De La Hoya said, because he's a DAZN fighter.
Right. There's the relationship with Turkey, which, obviously that had to be figured out. And the plans that they had for him, that had to be figured out. Would this derail it? All that stuff and more. But I don't begrudge him. I don't think less of him. I don't think he ruins anything. I think it's insane that you could say that even before the fight. If you want to say it after the fight, like, yeah, I can't believe you got knocked out by Jake Paul. I think less of you now. Sure. Does it take anything away from the Klitschko fight? Does it take anything away from the comeback recently? I mean, none of it. It's absolutely nonsense, and it's just like hot take, bullshit artist nonsense.
I return.
Okay, if he does get knocked out by Jake Paul,
that's different.
No.
It's a different convo.
No. This is like right now he's a
hurting
nothing.
his legacy.
But you can't take away what he did. Like, he's an Olympic gold medalist.
But
yeah, of course.
What are these things that he could be doing instead? That's what I return to this.
He was going to fight on a DAZN card in
Against
Africa
who?
that was going to mean against nobody. Literally
what are we
for 1/5
even
the price.
talking about?
But you have to have this take. Here's the one thing that I think is a fair criticism, not a criticism, but a fair debate or a fair discussion to have. If you're Nikisa and Jake and his team, are you making, like, you could die in the ring. Let's be real. You could die in the ring. Are you making a huge mistake?
I mean,
The safety is a legitimate
I think that's a very
thing.
look what he did to. I will never forget that Francis fight. I will never forget being there and looking at Francis Ngannou, who had never been rocked, knocked down, or knocked out cold, and was not moving for what seemed like an eternity. Ultimately, it was like a minute. That is a scare. That's Francis freaking Ngannou.
Yes.
Who weighs around the same size. Like, what is Jake gonna weigh? At best, 220. At best, that's not his real walking around weight. Here they have him listed as 200. They have Anthony listed at 252, which is what he weighed for the Dubois fight. A guy with 25 knockouts, 28 pro wins.
It's a question to ask, but Jake Paul is not in the business of asking these questions, right? He just fought a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. He was about to fight 135-pound Tank Davis. I don't know that his side of the equation is the one to be asking, like, is this too dangerous? When he's been on the other side of the is this too dangerous in one fight that happened and one fight that was about to happen. So I don't know that they make that calculation or care. I'd also point to the fact that while Francis Ngannou is a big man, Jake Paul has more boxing fights than Francis Ngannou does. So if we're going to do like, oh, he's inexperienced, Jake Paul's a boxer.
Okay,
more
so
than Francis Ngannou.
I've never subscribed to that because I don't like when people would call Francis a debutante or Conor a debutante. They're fighters, and fighters have made the walk. It's I can't get the picture of Francis getting knocked out of my brain and then thinking like, holy shit, how is Jake going to survive this? How is Jake? If Anthony is motivated and switched on, this is dangerous shit.
Yeah, and that's the best thing that you've got for people to tune in on Netflix.
This is a great selling point. This is a great selling point.
Jake Paul saying that I'm taking on Goliath is absolutely correct. He has not a chance in hell to win this fight. Anthony Joshua is going to sleep him, and that's the best thing that you could sell this on if you're Jake Paul.
Is he going to get the love and respect now?
No.
Of course not.
No?
Because he's going to get
clowned
folded.
on for getting it KO'd.
Okay, no, here's the thing. If he goes the distance like Francis did, do you think he gets any credit, or do you think it's just like it was rigged?
If he does, yeah. I mean, the rigged allegations will be loud. I mean, I've seen everyone. If it goes past 2, this fight was
Who's to
fixed.
check?
It won't.
It's nothing more than a farce that was scripted. AJ carried him the whole way. That's what they'll say.
We won't have to worry about any of this. Anthony Joshua is going to sleep Jake Paul.
Do you think Anthony goes in there? Because look, I don't think there was any type of agreement between Jake and Mike Tyson to like, hey, I'm going to take it easy. But at some point, it was very clear he took it easy on him.
Jake was taking it easy.
So yes, and over time, it sort of seems to feel like Floyd was carrying Conor for a little bit, right? So right? No. You don't
I feel
subscribe to
more
that?
in the Logan fight than in the Conor fight that Floyd was like letting it go longer than he thought. I don't feel like he carried Conor too much.
Okay, whatever the case is, do you think there's a chance that Anthony? No, you think he goes in there?
He's going to do the same thing that he did to Francis Ngannou, which is take his head off.
Wow.
The seriousness with which he took the Francis Ngannou fight makes me believe he will do the same for this one.
No chance.
By the way, I love the idea of brilliant mastermind Ben Davison breaking down Jake Paul fights right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this guy, him and that team, they're like,
They must be licking their
scientists.
fucking chops.
They're like, all right, guys, tonight we're gonna watch the Jake Paul, one of your favorite fights, the Ryan Borland fight.
Oh, yeah.
We're breaking this shit down. I mean, it's a quick one, but we're breaking this shit down.
Andre August tape, baby.
Yeah.
Crunch that.
No, they're going to pull up the Tommy Fury tape, and I imagine they're going to find 1 or 2 holes in his game.
Yeah.
I want to return to something that you were touching on. Shit, now I forgot it. I wanted to circle back to something. What did I want to circle back to?
Let's circle back to you circling back.
The sell on this fight. You're talking like you're saying that the boxing community has to say this for the honor of boxing. You don't. You can take the approach Eddie Hearn has taken to the Francis Ngannou fight, and will take to this fight, and it's a perfectly reasonable take, which is this is a farce. This is an absolute farce of a fight. Anthony Joshua is a top-level boxing man, and Jake Paul is a Disney kid. And Anthony Joshua is going to take his head off, and we're going to move on to the next thing. You can take that approach, and it has no reflection on Anthony Joshua's legacy. It has no reflection on the sport of boxing. This is a side quest. This is a completely different thing. Jake Paul operates in a completely different world that exists on Netflix to headline fights. And when Anthony Joshua has dispatched of Jake Paul, when he's removed his head from his body, he's going to fight Tyson Fury, and we're going to move on with our lives, and nobody's going to be upset about it. It's going to be fantastic. And that's the tact you have to take. Anthony Joshua has to come in like the destroyer, and I'm fairly confident he will. But we don't have to pretend that this is the same thing, right? Jake Paul doesn't exist in the same world that the Jermaine Franklins and Heleniuses and all these other guys that he's going to face do. Even a Francis Ngannou to a certain degree because of what he was able to do against Tyson Fury. He exists outside that. Anthony Joshua is entering that world for one night, and then he's going to come right back, and we're going to do something else. It's fine. We don't have to get up in arms. It's no indictment on boxing.
But you know that they feel this way.
But why? What is the
Who cares?
motivation? For what?
I think people don't want to give him credit for dedicating his life to this, for building MVP.
You're talking about
women.
Jake not getting credit.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking about Anthony.
On either side, why do we have to pretend? This is the circus, and that's absolutely fine. Anthony Joshua, one night only in the circus, and he's going to do exactly what he's supposed to do. He's going to be the lion. He's going to be the lion at the circus, and he's going to eat Jake Paul. And then at the end of the calendar year, maybe he steps in there with Tyson Fury and does it to him too. We don't have to pretend that these things are always equivalent. We don't have to pretend that every single spectacle is the same as the highest level boxing match. If this was Alexander Usyk, I have a different take on it, right? I don't think that that's the right fight. But
yeah, because
don't
he's
have
the
to pretend
champion
that,
of the world and all this stuff. Yeah,
you don't
he's
have to
not
pretend
holding
that
up
Anthony
anything.
Joshua is
I'm intrigued. I'm hyped.
These same people would be the first ones to shit on Anthony Joshua, and probably were the first ones to shit on Anthony Joshua when he stumbled against Andy Ruiz and when he stumbled against Usyk and when he's crying in the ring. Like, there is no legacy that this guy has. It is not a sterling legacy that needs to be protected. And I'm so over it. It's such
I will just add this, and it's something that we've said before, because you'll see especially MMA fans say, like, this is why I don't watch boxing. This is why boxing sucks. This is why boxing's in the gutter, all this stuff and more. I don't know if you guys know this, but there is an unbelievable card happening this Saturday in Riyadh. Like, it's one of the, people have said this about other cards. Like, I would make a very strong case of all the Riyadh cards so far, a card that has David Benavidez, Bam Rodriguez, Brian Norman, Devin Haney. Like, this card is outstanding. Were you going to watch it? Are you interested in it? Like, if you care so much about the sanctity of boxing, surely you would watch a fight card like this. Surely you would be interested in names like Bam Rodriguez and David Benavidez and Devin Haney. Like, surely you care. You don't care. And so don't care about what this means for the sport of boxing, and don't use that as the excuse as to why you're not into it or not. You can't wrap your head around the fact that someone who was as successful as Jake, who's as rich as Jake, is able to create this own path for himself. And the reason why he's able to create this path for himself is because he has given fighters like Nate Diaz, like Anderson Silva, like Ben Askren, like Tyron Woodley, like Nate Robinson, and now like the likes of Anthony Joshua, he has made it financially viable for them to make the walk. And the reason why he's able to make it financially viable is because he himself is a draw. And he is himself is someone that Netflix wants to be in business with. This is now Netflix's fourth foray into boxing. 3 of them are MVP cards, and this will be the second involving Jake himself. Like, that's why. And so he has created this for himself, and people can't wrap their head around it, and they don't want to give him that credit. But I don't know how now you don't give him the credit of at least stepping in there. Even Dana White himself was giving him credit at the presser. I don't think we have that sound, but Dana himself was like, "Yeah, I'll watch that one." And by the way, part of the appeal is I want to see him get his ass whooped.
That was the entire appeal for Dana White.
But by the way,
yeah,
that's fine.
Yes, people are going to watch because of that. You cannot help yourself. Once you see this face-off and he's 5 inches taller than him and he's going to have 20, 30 pounds on him, and then obviously the experience and how he finishes his opponents, you will not be able to help yourself to just turn on Netflix and see whether or not Jake Paul gets knocked out on December 19th.
Jake Paul would be smart to start making this into like a funeral, promoting it like, watch me get killed by Anthony Joshua.
That's fucking illegal.
Everybody's going to tune in for this. By the way, need I remind people, Canelo Alvarez, whose legacy is far superior to that of Anthony Joshua, is one of the greatest fighters of all time, one of the greatest fighters of our generation, was moments away from signing up for this Jake Paul fight too. Like, we need to just get in line with the idea that this is reality. We can't just keep denying it forever.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, in 2025, he was ready to sign to fight Canelo. He was ready to sign to fight Tank. He was ready. Chuck had
the Tank one. I'm not as. I'm not giving him as much credit for.
I'm just saying.
To fight a 35er, it doesn't take the stones that it takes to fight Anthony Joshua and Canelo.
What's the tweet from Chuck? I'd have to double check, but Jake Paul might be the only fighter to go from a 57-year-old Mike Tyson to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. to trying to fight Tank Davis to Anthony Joshua after a fight with Mike Perry. No, I mean it's an absurd path. It really is,
and it's great.
It's unbelievable. This card this weekend: Benavidez Yard, Norman Haney, Abdullah Mason. I forgot about. I knew I was forgetting someone. 19-0 against Sam Noakes. 17-0. Bam Rodriguez against Fernando Martinez. Vito Milniecki. Shout out to New Jersey. I didn't realize he was on this card.
And shout out to Brian Norman, Georgia.
Hell yeah. This is an unbelievable. Look at this card. By the way, there's like a bunch of Top Rank guys here. Not a great sign for the state of Top Rank. But, I mean, the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights are amazing. Are absolutely amazing. None of you watching this. None of you. None of the people that are complaining about, the sanctity of boxing and all this nonsense. None of you watching it. Now, I can't wait to see, man, I can't wait to see the face-off, the stare-down. Yeah. Do you guys think this sells better than Tank?
Yeah.
Then Tank? Yeah, no question.
Well, here's the thing. Tank Davis in America is a bigger star than Anthony Joshua. I don't mean selling like in terms of people watching, but this is happening in Miami.
Nobody wanted that fight.
Globally,
Nobody wanted that fight.
Globally, of course.
Anthony Joshua is bigger, and also the draw now is not, Jake Paul is fighting a tiny 135er. Jake Paul is now fighting a giant heavyweight.
So I'm saying in Miami when I was saying sell.
Oh, you're saying
Much
like
more.
tickets-wise?
Yeah,
I think it probably sells out.
Yeah.
Jake Paul, even with Tank Davis, Jake Paul was the A side of that. And his funeral is going to be
You think this is the end? Because you've always been the one who's subscribed to like the losses don't matter to him.
If Anthony Joshua does him like he did at Francis Ngannou, it's going to be hard to sell a Jake Paul fight again. That's all I'll say. Losing to Tommy Fury by decision is like whatever. I've never thought that Jake Paul stepped in there with a guy who was going to just obliterate him, and so yeah, this could be the end. This could
If
be
he
the
gets
one.
folded, eyes rolled back in the head, scary scenes.
If he gets
it could be the end.
memed, it's going to be pretty rough.
Man.
Until maybe Conor McGregor is a free agent and then you do that one.
If he lands those punches that he landed on Francis, like
Yeah, Jake's going to sleep.
he dropped him multiple times and then put him out.
No, the Francis one was scary, dude.
Yes.
The last one where he's like folded over and his leg bent
Yeah.
all weird and he was out completely cold. And like you said, this is a dude that he was known for having an insane chin. And then to get done like that is terrifying. I think Anthony Joshua, it's like 25 of his 28 wins are by knockout.
Yeah.
He doesn't go to decision often. And with a guy that he has such a massive size advantage over, power advantage over, skill advantage over, experience advantage over, you have to think that the same fate is in store for Jake Paul.
Is this crossing over? Like, will your friends text you about this?
1,000%. They already have. This morning I woke up to several group
But are
messages
the
popping
texts
on.
like, is this real or is he going to lose? Like, is it like, I don't know what to make of this, or is it like, oh, I'm hyped, I need to watch this?
Everyone is going to watch it. A couple people were like, it's such a farce. Jake Paul puts these on. He's going to get carried to a decision, XYZ. The Dorman test, he was like, I think Jake Paul has a wish for an early
He's in?
grave.
He's in? Okay.
He'll be watching, yeah,
Dorman's
for sure.
in?
That's the thing. Everyone's going to be watching. How can you not? There's no pay-per-view barrier. It's just
Right.
Netflix. You turn it on December 19th. Maybe at the holidays.
Yeah. By the way, what a 24 hours for the crossover boxing world. The following day, Andrew Tate making his Misfits debut. What draws more?
Yeah,
I think
I'm going to go out on a limb and guess Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua on Netflix is going to do a smidge more.
not in the Andy household. She's a big Chase Demore fan. Stan, dare I say?
Actually, Misfits released a statement talking about Dillon Danis.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Speaking of Misfits, following the altercation at UFC 322 between Dillon Danis and members of Islam Makhachev's team, Misfits Boxing can confirm that Dillon remains welcome at all Misfits events.
It's big news.
I thought they were going to say, like, he can't fight because he got concussed or something.
I thought he was just going to be out of the fight and they didn't
Yeah.
have any business with him.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so what a 24 hours that's going to be. The big Anthony Taylor versus Dillon Danis fight. My friends, every so often when we're doing On the Nose and, listening to the people online, YouTube chat, every so often I'll get a message. It'll either be like, whatever happened to you and Ade? What happened to that show? We took it for granted. We miss it. What happened to you guys? You were here today, gone tomorrow. What happened? We were just getting rolling. And we'll get the message and we addressed it. 1-year deal. These things happen. Were there other factors involved? Were there other forces at play? Who's to check, as the great Bob Arum once said so famously.
Who's to check?
That's right, Bob. I mean, who is to check? I mean, really, who knows? But on a day like today, yeah, I've sent him several messages over the past few months, crickets. But on a day like today, I had to send several, even more, because I don't know a bigger Anthony Joshua fan. Of course, it was a huge weekend. Saw him presenting, as they say, doing a marvelous job over at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium over the last few days, presenting for the Eubank Benn rematch. And then, of course, we wake up to this news. It dropped at around lunchtime in the UK. And I was like, I got to take the temperature of the biggest AJ fan that I know. And so when you talk about those hardcore UK boxing fans who are being all sanctimonious, who are saying, it's a farce, the legacy is ruined. I mean, I wonder. I don't know. I've not heard anything. I've not listened to anything, but I'm sure he has many thoughts. And so we called upon our old friend, Ade Oladipo. Yeah, there he is. I know that music. There. This warms my heart. The undisputed global home of that. How did that make you feel hearing that? I haven't heard that music in months. I did not plan on that.
Dude, it hurt me.
Yeah.
It hurt me. I honestly, genuinely, I was like, no, this is quite painful because I get those messages as well. Like, what's going on? Especially when something crazy happens in the boxing world. They're like, okay, look, Ariel and Ade, come on, you guys, we need you to hear what you guys are going to say about it. So,
well, here we are.
It's great to be on again. Yeah,
impromptu.
you're right, because quite a lot's happened.
And by the way, I know you've had a crazy day, right? I mean, earlier today you were hosting a presser, the Moses Atama fight, and then you had some work stuff. You had your day job, TalkSport. So I was hitting you up, and I appreciate you squeezing us in. You must be knackered, as they say.
I am knackered, but this news, like what's happened, not just with AJ, Fabio Wardley becoming a world champion. Yeah. So much has happened that I've got so much energy. Like I'm ready to go. I mean, I can stay on this for an hour if you want.
Okay,
we can run back the whole time.
Show.
We can do whatever you want.
Yeah, parting shot and all. We've got everything lined up. Let's get into Islam Makhachev's win. No, I'm kidding. Okay, okay, here it is. I know nothing about your opinion on this. Okay, I've been doing the show. I haven't been online. I've seen nothing. Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul, December 19th, Netflix, 8 rounds, heavyweight, 10-ounce gloves, 245-pound weight limit for AJ. Ade's thoughts.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. My reason that I was against it from the very beginning was like, well, one second, AJ would just finish this off in a minute, which I still think he can and probably will do. I think AJ can walk over and just destroy Jake Paul. I'm never going to be mad as the president of the AJ fan club for AJ to go and make 30 million fighting Jake Paul. Never going to be mad at it at all. There are a lot of British fight fans that are upset, and I'm like, what are you upset about? I thought you guys were saying AJ was done after Dubois, like he should retire. All of a sudden, he's like, okay, I want to quit knock against this guy called the problem child in America, and you're mad at me? Why? I want to fight Tyson Fury, and that's all I've ever wanted to do. If he doesn't want to fight, I'll do what I want to do. AJ has literally carried boxing on his back in this country for a decade. Like, he put people in stadiums when no one was doing it. He put people in sold-out arenas when no one was doing it. He literally brought sponsors to the sport of boxing when sponsors wanted nothing to do with the sport. And he just wants to kind of deviate for one fight and everyone's losing their minds. Like, everyone needs to chill out a little bit. Honestly, chill out. This is a couple of rounds. And then, as he said, he'll get back to the zone and continue that train ride to another world title shot. I'm not mad at AJ fighting Jake Paul at all.
I appreciate the take. I appreciate how sensible you are. And you're referring to people losing. So what is the temperature like overall? I know you can't speak for everyone, but what are people saying back home? Are they mad at it? Are they mad at him for taking this?
Oh, it's a disgrace.
Yeah,
legacy is damaged forever. I'm like, why is his legacy damaged? I'm like, boxing doesn't pause because AJ wants to have a fight. Like, boxing's in a good space at the moment. We've got a fantastic card coming up on the weekend. We've got more great cards coming up. Like, what's the issue? Like, AJ isn't just boxing. Like, you know, if AJ fights, it doesn't mean boxing's on hold. Like, boxing will continue. But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is that his legacy is over. His legacy will be damaged. And you know, I agree if he gets knocked out or if he loses or if it goes past 4 or 5 rounds. But I don't agree with the legacy being damaged because he wants to take on Jake Paul. I mean, I know it's slightly different, but let's not forget Tyson Fury was the world champion when he kind of put the sport on pause, at least the heavyweight sport on pause, to fight Ngannou. AJ's not that. AJ's the guy coming off a loss. He's just about a top 10 heavyweight right now, coming to the end of his career, and someone's put a check in front of him with so many numbers I can't count them to say have a fight against a YouTuber, who would not take that? Every single fighter, maybe minus Ngannou, fighting right now would take that fight. Every single one of them. And if they're saying they wouldn't, they're lying.
And by the way, I mean, you talk about Tyson Fury. Let's talk about a guy named Muhammad Ali, 1976. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. He fights a pro wrestler in a real fight, a mixed rules fight in Japan named Antonio Inoki. Did that ruin his legacy? The match ended in a draw. George Foreman, coming off the Rumble in the Jungle, his next fight was against 5 blokes in Toronto, Maple Leaf Gardens, 5 total jobbers. That was his next time in the ring. And so like this idea that, and we could go back to Jack Johnson, I talked about these other examples earlier, this idea that he is ruining his legacy by taking this fight. Correct me if I'm wrong, I heard Eddie allude to this. Wasn't the plan for him to fight in Africa against a total nobody just as like a tune-up fight in December? Why? And that was for way less money, not on Netflix, probably a DAZN card. No one would have watched it, at least here in America. Why would you take that fight over this fight? It's complete lunacy to give him shit for taking this fight in what is a pro bout, a heavyweight bout. Like, why wouldn't you do it? I don't understand. That's right? Like, wasn't that the plan for him to fight in December?
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about AJ going on a fight card in Ghana, December 20th, so not too far away, a day apart from this. And as you say, it was going to be against the guy top 100. So maybe someone that we've never known. AJ would have blown him out the water, and people would have said, what was the point in that? At least now, for all you Jake Paul haters that want to see Jake Paul get chinned, here you go. Here you go. AJ is going to fight him. And for everyone that's kind of said, oh, Jake Paul fights MMA guys that are past their best, and Jake Paul fights guys that are too small. Jake Paul fights guys that are too old. Well, this is almost Jake Paul giving everyone the middle finger, saying, wow, 1 second. I'm now fighting a guy bigger than me, unified heavyweight champion of the world. Still, I think, with something left to offer, the real boxing scene, take that. And this is AJ saying, guys, 1 second. I am going to fight potentially in February or March. Let me just have this one, and then we're back to business. I honestly, I can't understand the anger. I almost feel like with AJ, there's always been anger. Regardless of what AJ does, there's anger. So I knew as soon as this was announced, it was going to be met with people saying it's a disgrace, ruining the legacy, blah, blah, blah. Just because people like to get on AJ's about anything, I am not mad at AJ doing this.
Yeah, I understand actually, and this is a bit of a detour, Jude Bellingham getting a lot of shit over in the UK right now, and it does seem to be like a UK media thing where like the top dog gets a lot of crap for whatever reason when they give really no reason to deserve any of that crap. You mentioned Francis Ngannou. What do you think he's thinking right now? Because I am on the record saying I was surprised he turned it down. This felt like a layup for Francis, a great way to get back in there. Do you think he is feeling like, oh man, maybe I should have taken that? If the guy who beat me is taking it and saying it's good enough for him, maybe I should have taken it?
Yeah, it's the biggest bag fumble ever. Like, I mean, I believe Francis would have beaten Jake Paul. Look, I don't think Francis is the greatest boxer, but I think we all saw against Tyson Fury he can box. And Jake Paul would have been significantly smaller. I'm surprised that Francis turned it down. I think it just makes sense. And look, I don't know what number Francis was looking for in terms of a check, but it still would have been as big as the Fury or the AJ fight. So, yeah, I think Francis is messed up. I think Francis maybe thought he wants a proper boxing match and that he would get stick not for, for fighting Jake and not fighting a proper boxer. And now he's thinking, damn, AJ's taking it. So I think he's messed up a little bit. But who knows? It's something that he could revisit. But I almost feel like once this comes across your desk, there's no way you don't sort of take it. There's just no way.
We're focusing on the haters. Anyone in the boxing community actually saying, you know what, Jake? Respect. We didn't think you would do this. We didn't think you had this in you. Is anyone giving him props for taking this fight?
I think they will. But I think for now, it's more a case of let's just throw more shade at AJ. It almost seems way more AJ hate. And then I think people will calm down and think, 1 second, Jake's actually saying he wants to fight Anthony Joshua and he's doing it. Like Jake called out AJ and we all laughed about 4 or 5 months ago. Remember him saying it, like, I want to fight AJ. And we all kind of like, is this guy crazy? And he's doing it. I asked the question today, is Jake the biggest name in boxing? And someone laughed. And I was like, no, seriously. This is a guy that was, I don't know, a few minutes away from fighting Canelo. This is a guy that Usyk said I wants to fight. But Turbiev said, everyone wants to fight Jake Paul. Like Jake Paul right now, I mean, this fight says Jake Paul versus AJ. I've never seen AJ be B-side since he turned pro. It's blowing my mind. I mean, it's small things that no one should really care about. But I just thought, 1 second, it says Jake Paul versus AJ? This is a Jake Paul show, not an AJ show? I've never seen it ever. By the way, what's with the
The
judgment
spelling.
day?
You guys are really hung up on this. I've seen so many tweets about.
What is it? What's going on?
That's how we spell it here in America. We. That's how we spell
Ah.
it. It's sort of like color. You spell color COLOUR. In America, it's LOR.
Oh, is that it?
Talk about
Okay.
sanctimony. Golly, I've seen more tweets on the spelling of judgment than the validity of this fight. It's absurd. By the way, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think about as far as the actual fight? Like, is there any chance here that this goes? Not what? Is there? Seriously, I don't know. I don't know what the hell to make of it. What do you think? You think he starches him in two? What if he says, "I want to carry him"?
Starches him in one.
You think so?
Yeah, and this goes back to the AJ sort of ruining his legacy. If this goes beyond 3 or 4, then there is maybe like, okay, what's going on with AJ here? What's going on with AJ? Like, sorry, what's happening? Because this is a 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world who is going to be outweighing Jake Paul by 20 or 30 pounds, who, unless he's fighting the very, very elite in the heavyweight division, destroys everyone else. This shouldn't go beyond a couple of rounds. Like I would be astounded. I'm not joking, astounded if this goes beyond a round. Like, I beg Nikisa to be there. I let Nikisa, please, I need to see this up close. Like, AJ can't go beyond a couple of rounds here.
Special edition, Ariel and Ade.
This is it, man.
One night only.
One night only. You get it, right? You get it live and free for one night. But no, AJ should destroy him. This is 10-ounce gloves. It's 3-minute rounds. This is AJ's wheelhouse. And Jake wouldn't have fought anyone this powerful, this fresh, this powerful, this big, and someone that hits that hard. Like, someone was telling me the other day that, oh, Jake could just cover up. I'm like, do you think he's not going to feel it on his elbows and his hand? Like, unless AJ kind of plays around and spars, that's the only way this goes deep. If AJ takes this like he's fighting a Dubois or an Ngannou, look what he did to Ngannou.
Yeah, no.
This could go
shocking.
early very quick.
I love the idea. I was talking about this earlier. I love the idea of Ben Davison and Lee Wiley breaking down Jake Paul footage right now. You know, like those two scientists being like, all right, let's look at the Ryan Borland tape. Let's see what we can see here. You know what I mean? Because they took the Francis, to their credit, and it worked. They took the Francis fight so seriously, and you saw what it translated into. I expect nothing less from Team AJ. So all of it is so fascinating to me. The only sort of thing I'm wondering, it's the only thing. I mean, AJ should win. He should win in devastating fashion. Is he fit? Like, that's the thing, right? He's coming off surgery. Is he fit? Has he been training? We know Jake's been training. This fight's in essentially a month. Is there any concern there about his fitness?
Yeah, there is a little, but AJ is one of those heavyweights. He's not a Martin Bacoli. He's one of those heavyweights that lives the life. I've never seen AJ out of shape. I mean, obviously, there's a difference between being in fighting shape and just being in shape. But I've never seen him out of shape. And if there was this talk about AJ having a fight in December anyway, whether it be on the Inoue card or this Ghana card, surely preparation for that would have already started. So I think he's in some form of shape. The 245s may be interesting because he's not been that weight since he fought Usyk the second time round. But I thought he looked fantastic on that night. So I think it's actually a mistake saying come in light, because that means AJ's having to get in super shape as opposed to just be what you want. And AJ coming out of, I don't know, 270 and being a bit ploddy. I think AJ coming in at 245 is, I think, the best AJ. I've always said that AJ carries too much muscle. So I think Jake and his team might have got this wrong. Rather than say, AJ, come in and be whatever you want, asking AJ to actually get into shape, I think could be very, very dangerous for Jake Paul.
Okay, that's interesting because I've seen people point to that being like, rehydration. It's like Ben Eubank. Look how Eubank looked. This is silly. He hasn't weighed 245 or less than since 2022, the Usyk rematch. You actually think this is a miscalculation. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I just think he looks incredible for me at 245. I've always said that AJ sometimes comes in a bit too heavy. And he almost looks a bit leggy in the latter rounds because his legs are too big and he's carrying too much excess muscle. I think the Robert Diaz that had AJ for Usyk, I think that's the best shape I've ever seen AJ in. And I thought he looked really good, and he slowed down in the latter rounds because Usyk was just too Usyk, if you like, on that day. But I think AJ around 245, 240, I think is just special. I think because then you get speed, which Jake might have over AJ right now because Jake's a bit lighter, but you also get power. So I think speed and power AJ, I think, could still compete with any heavyweight in the world.
how do you think this affects the plans for 2026? Was watching the broadcast on Saturday, and again, tremendous job by you and everyone. And Turkey was on there talking about we have big plans for AJ, 2 fights, February, later in the year, alluding to the Tyson fight that we all want to see. Do you think this changes anything?
No, nothing at all. I really don't. And I hope I'm not sounding too disrespectful to Jake Paul, but in my eyes, if Jake Paul was over here, Jake Paul would probably be like a Southern area level fighter. So maybe just around English level or below. AJ should be able to blow that kind of fighter out of the water in a couple of rounds. And then you have another fight in a couple of months' time in February. So this should be nothing for AJ. And if it is something for AJ, then I guess I come on the show and we have a bigger conversation about where AJ is. But where I think AJ still is, this should be merely a speed bump onto serious stuff in February. That's what it should be. But that's why we're all going to tune in, because you're right. I mean, if Jake Paul closes his eyes and throws that right hand and he's going to be 220 pounds, and I mean, Tyron Woodley and everyone says he can hit like a truck. If he lands one, whew, boy.
Yeah, I saw some dude on Twitter was like, I can't wait to see you spin the narrative that if Jake lands one on AJ's weak chin. Let's be very clear. I don't think AJ has a weak chin. I think he's proven that like what happened against Andy Ruiz was something when you get hit by Danny Dubois, something. I don't think Jake has that power, so I'm not going to spin that narrative, but I don't know what happens in a fight. I don't know who tweaks this. I don't know who's going the distance. No one thought Francis would go the distance. I'm intrigued. And again, I'm way more intrigued in this fight than I was Anthony fighting some no-name jobber in Ghana. You know, the intrigue in that fight was just Anthony going back home, right? Anthony going back to Africa. There was no other intrigue. And I am curious about whether or not Jake can ruin any plans. Could you imagine if the reason we don't get Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury is because of Jake Paul? I know it's a long shot, but we have now put ourselves in that position where it seems like we've never been closer and he could ruin all of it. And you'd have to think he'd relish the opportunity to ruin all of that.
Oh my God! If honestly, if that happened, it's not like don't get me wrong. There are times in the last 3 hours, 4 hours, where it's come to my head like, what if he just lands one? Like, even if AJ's legs just wobble for a second, like, what does that mean? But surely that can't happen. But there is intrigue there, because all of a sudden Jake, as you say, is fighting a live dog. He's not fighting someone that's 5'5" and he outweighs by 100 pounds. He's not fighting someone that was in a wheelchair 4 or 5 months prior to their fight in Mike Tyson. He's fighting a real, live, big, strong heavyweight, and he deserves so many props. Like, my intrigue for this, and it's not just because AJ is over here and he's a Brit, for this compared to Gervonta Jake, is through the roof. I wasn't that interested in Gervonta Jake. In fact, like, Gervonta did nothing for me at the press conference. He didn't sell it at all. It was boring. I was like, this is all Jake. This is not capturing my attention. This, I mean, dude, I've never ever gotten to Nikisa. And I was like, Nikisa, please. I said, I will carry the spit bucket just to be there in some way, shape, or form. Like, I am so intrigued by this, only because Jake has balls of an elephant, and because my boy AJ just has to get this done early. Has to get this done early.
And ultimately, if the likes of KSI are giving you props, if you're Jake, you have to, like, your biggest hater, your biggest rival, KSI on Twitter saying, yeah, fair enough, Jake. I mean, like, that kind of says it all. I want to ask you about Benn Eubank. Eubank looked lethargic. He looked listless. He had no pop. It could have been scored a shutout. That one judge, Latham, who had it like tied going into the 9th, I mean, absolutely absurd. It was all Eubank. It was the moment that he had been dreaming of, that his father had been dreaming of. It was nothing like the first fight in terms of the drama and the entertainment. What the hell happened? Was this just too soon for Eubank to come back at 160 pounds? How the hell did we go from that performance in April to this performance on Saturday, which was so disappointing?
You said it, Ariel, too soon.
Yeah.
Honestly, too soon. He went life and death in April. And so he did the weight cut in April, went life and death in April, and then had that rehydration cap in April. You can't do that again 7 months later, especially not at 36. There's a reason why all the top dogs in the world, the older top dogs, only fight once a year. And they don't have the wars that Chris Eubank Jr. had 7 months ago. There's a reason why Crawford only fights once a year at 38, Usyk once a year at 39, Beterbiev once a year at 40. You can't fight like that and do it once every 6 or 7 months. The body just won't heal. Physically, he looked great, but it was almost like a Ferrari with no engine. There was just nothing there. And maybe Father Time has just got to him. It always catches up to someone on fight. Look at Leon Edwards. To go UFC the other day. Surprised me. Maybe it just gets you. And it just got to Chris Eubank Jr. on the night. But I also don't know how much to sort of give. I'm struggling with how much credit I need to give Conor Benn for making Eubank look old as opposed to Eubank just looking old. Because the narrative after the fight is, well, Eubank was this, Eubank was that. Benn was pretty good. Ben looked really ferocious and bigger and stronger this time. And he made the old man look old. So I think it's a bit of both. But even there, look at that, the way he's standing.
He's sunken in,
Oh,
the activity, though, was just way less. The activity was less. And so, yes, I agree with you. It's unfair to Ben because it feels like we're taking something away and we're focusing too much on Eubank. But just, he looked lethargic. It didn't seem like he had the same pop and the same determination to just bite down and win. Even I remember at one point, Tony Bellew is being interviewed and he's like, oh yeah, he's got him right where he wants him. He's gonna pick it up. And I was like, I don't see this happening. I mean, credit to Tony, like he's the man. But I was like, when is this gonna happen? Because I saw nothing, no signs that would suggest this was going to happen. And so it was just a little disappointing. And it does to a degree make you wish, like, oh, you kind of wish that they left it at that one. But I'm happy for Conor. He's been he's been through so much. You see how he wears his heart on his sleeve. I do believe deep down he's a really good guy. I know that a lot of people want to vilify him. And I hope, and I wonder how you feel about this, I hope this is it. I don't want to see another one. And he was the first to say it.
Absolutely not.
We're done, right? We're done?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, thank you.
I could have given that a shutout. Like there were a few moments where Eubank looked good, but the idea of giving it a shutout and then people even talking about a trilogy, I'm like, are you crazy? Are you mad? But what's crazy for me is like he walks out with 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And he looks the part on the stage. I'm like, whoa. And then even when, look at this. So you can't see anything here. Like his face isn't giving anything away. And I'm like, okay, he's ready. But he did nothing from the very first round. And that's what kind of blew my mind. It wasn't like when a guy's kind of going out and Father Time gets you, you kind of have like 2 or 3 rounds where you give your all. He did nothing from the first round. I'm like, did he know something? I spoke to his manager just before the fight, literally just before the fight, and he said, watch this. Like, you watch how good he looks. So I'm like, were you lying to me as well? Like, or did it just happen on the night where under the bright lights, it just went? And maybe that's just what happened. And that's, a story as old as anything in boxing where on the night, you just can't find it. And if that's the case, then he should really consider retiring. Forget a trilogy, like retire from the sport. We're hearing 20 million for those 2 fights. Is that not enough to say I'm done? Like, is that not enough? Does he want to go out like that? Because if he goes to 168, there's guys like Crawford, Hamza Shiraz, Callum Simpson. No.
Yeah, I felt like if he won this fight or if it was a close one and he lost, he'd be in play for the Canelo fight because of Canelo's relationship with Turkey and his relationship now. And I feel like there's no interest in that whatsoever and no interest in seeing him fight those kinds of guys. And at the post-fight presser, he was a little bit short with everyone and he did sort of allude to the fact that there was something wrong this training camp, but he didn't want to go too far in. Who the hell knows? On the flip side, the big story is, what does this mean for Conor Benn? Is he fighting the likes of Mario Barrios, who he's talked about? Is he fighting the likes of Devin Haney? Is he fighting the winner of Haney-Norman? Is he fighting at 47, at 54? How far does he go down? It sounds like 47. Ryan Garcia as well. Rolly Romero. Who would you like to see him fight and at what weight class?
He's got to get his ass down to 47 because those boys at 54, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
It's deep waters. And that's not discrediting Conor Benn. I think he's a good fighter, but there are great fighters. I mean, you only have to look at Ortiz and Boots, who are not even champions in that division. That's what's waiting for you at 54. So he has to make 47 if he can, because those boys are just too big. They're far too big for him. Far too big, far too good right now. Whereas I look at Rolly Romero, I look at Mario Barrios, I look at Ryan Garcia, and I see routes to victory for Conor Benn. I really do. There's Lewis Crocker over here, who's the IBF champion, potentially. That's an in-house fight. I mean, there are actually fun fights that make a lot of money for Conor. He's now a superstar. Like, he got the crowd, the majority of the crowd in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium were his fans. I'd say about 70-30 split. So He's got the crowd now. He's a superstar. And I feel like he just needs to leave this Eubank thing behind. And it has to be a Rolly Romero or Barrios next if he can make 147. And it's a big if because he's put on 20 pounds of muscle now. There's no fat on that boy. And that's muscle's not easy to get rid of. I should know. Trust me.
Yeah, no. I've heard.
Yeah.
By the way, hot take, the first Eubank walkout infinitely better than the second, even with 50 Cent didn't appear. 50 Cent, he was hardly even singing. He was saying like every fifth word. The first one, there was something in the YouTube comments I remember where someone said like the first one was for his dad. You remember when he came out to 3 different songs? The first was for his dad. The second was for him. The third was for his brother who passed away. It felt like there was meaning. There was spirituality behind it. This was a nice moment. It was cool. But what's the connection between 50 Cent and the Eubanks? There is no connection. And I loved how Connor addressed it in the post. Like, what did you think when you saw 50? He's like, what's 50 Cent going to do? Well, how's he going to help him? What's he going to do? He probably just met him. He probably had no idea who he was, with all due respect. I don't know. It didn't feel the same. And also, Senior rolling up with the same jacket was a little disappointing. I think it was the same one, right? Did you notice that?
It really upset me. It really upset me, honestly, because I don't know where I was, but they came out of the car, and I was like, "Oh, that's the same jacket." I said that to someone. I literally said to someone, "Oh my god, it's the same jacket." Like, surely someone. It just kind of. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah. When it just doesn't have the same impact as it did the first time around. That's why I guess we all said they should have left it there. And you're right. I mean, unless 50 Cent's his good friend, ultimately you've just paid someone to turn up and walk you to the ring, and they've gone, you've gone, everyone's gone their separate ways. So it was a bit weird. And I'm with you. I actually really liked Benn's walkout. I really liked Conor Benn's walkout of the drummers. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
I thought that was nice. And again, it was him and his father that moment. And I wanted it to be a Chris and his father moment, but Senior kind of got left behind because of 50 Cent. But I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed it. But you're right. I always feel like when rappers walk out, singers, I think I said this about Clarissa and she got upset. It's the worst thing ever.
It's clunky.
Yeah, they're never really rapping. Yeah. They're miming. They chime in for every minute. It doesn't work for me.
No, but Connor is a superstar, and I'm really curious to see what he does next. Last thing, and then I'll let you go. I know it's been a long day. This news that came out in the midst of our show today, that Alexander Usyk has vacated the WBO title. And so has it happened yet? Has Wardley become the official champion? Because he was the interim champion due to the win. Here it is. Here's the announcement from the WBA announcing that Usyk has relinquished the WBO heavyweight championship. WBO announced today that it has received formal communication from Team Alexander Usyk. After thoughtful consideration, Usyk has elected to relinquish. So they haven't said anything, it appears, regarding Wardley. We suspect that's the next shoe. Why do you think he did this?
I have no idea. Honestly, I wonder if he just looks at Fabio and just thinks that there's no interest, doesn't like the fight. Not that he's fearful. I don't think Alexander Usyk's fearful of any man. But I think he just thinks it's not a big fight. It doesn't do anything for his legacy to fight Fabio Wardley. I think he would have fought Joseph Parker. If it was Joseph Parker that won, I think that's a fight that maybe because they're almost from the same era, if you like, and they've just avoided each other. So maybe that would have been a fight he would have taken. And I do feel like the WBO do put pressure on fighters to make a decision. Look, are you going to fight or are you going to vacate? And he's probably just said, you know what, don't put pressure on me, I'll just vacate. Like, you can't tell me what to do. Like, I've given you so much sanctioning fees, I can decide what I want to do at this stage in my life. And here, take your belt back. And I think he's almost just done that. I actually feel sorry a bit for Fabio. Some people might say, what? But I don't know if fighters like winning world titles like this. Remember when Devin Haney won it like this and they kept on calling him the email champ for years? Yeah. I just don't think they want to win it in the ring. So Fabio will be happy considering where he's come from. White collar boxer to this. It's an incredible story. It's a movie. But I think he would have preferred, oh, there you go. And there it is. I think he would have preferred to win it in the ring. But regardless, him being a world champion is incredible.
Oh my God.
Incredible. It blows my mind. And I would never have predicted he would have got past British level. So here we are, Fabio world champion. Stunning. It's an incredible feat.
You know what also blows my mind? Well, first of all, I just want to say I still maintain it was an awful stoppage. I don't like the stoppage at all. And I think Joseph deserved more of a fighting chance. But it blows my mind that Joseph would test positive for cocaine.
dude.
On the day of the fight? What is up with that? Now, he has come out and put out a statement saying that there's more to it. Here it is. I want to address today's news. Before my recent fight, I took a voluntary test and now have been informed that it returned an adverse result. This came as a real surprise to me. I did not take any prohibited substance. I do not use PEDs and do not support their use. I'm cooperating fully with the process now underway, and I'm confident the investigation will clear my name. And then he thanks everyone. And he says, when the investigation is complete, I will speak openly and answer questions. It has come out that the substance was cocaine. And I know back in the day, Joseph had some demons, but he was nowhere near those demons these days. And like for that to happen on fight day is a shocking thing. I don't know, call me a Joseph guy. I'm open with my respect and admiration for him. I feel like there's more to this story. I'm not ready to vilify the man.
I pray and hope there's more to the story because there probably isn't a boxer aside from AJ who I like and adore more than Joseph Parker. So when I see that news, it kind of gut-wrenching. Like, I pray there's more to it. But most times there isn't. And so I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that, no, there is just an obvious reason as to why this has come up. Like, oh, okay, fine, thank God. And, I've actually been waiting for him to come on your show. I'm thinking, I know Ariel's reached out to him, and I've been literally, like, refreshing my page. Like, surely I'm going to see this thing of, Joseph Parker's on today. Because those type of things, what we just read out is normally sort of written by a lawyer, as you know.
Sure.
It's like, okay, this is how we need to construct it. That I don't know if that's Joseph Parker's words. And I almost want to hear him say it. And that I will then make my judgment from listening to him talk to you as opposed to a statement being released. But yes, it's awful news because if he is found guilty, it's a 2-year ban.
Wow.
And Joseph's 34, 33, 34. So that's probably that. So this is a big issue. And so hopefully, again, there's just an obvious reason as to why there is cocaine in his system on the night of a Fabio Wardley fight.
Yeah, if it was done on purpose, then obviously that speaks to where he was at, and it's a scary thought for him to do that. But yes, I have in fact reached out to him, and he said that in due time he will come on, but they're waiting for the process to play out, and I certainly understand that as well. Ade, this has been a lot of fun. Now time for everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is, no, I'm kidding. I've got nothing.
No, please. No, they can't get Nike in the back.
No.
You haven't got anything?
Remember that music?
This is hard. This is hard. I can't take it. I'm still invoicing for this. I'm going to send us on an invoice.
Get your lighters. You know what? We do have one. It's actually, we're going to go back to New York City this past weekend.
Yeah.
The fight everyone's talking about. The brawl
MSG?
at the Mecca.
Oh my God. Dude, does this guy have a problem? Like, is he okay?
Which
Dillon
one?
Danis?
Which one?
Dillon Danis.
Listen, he did a lot to, I think, warrant this, but on the night, as you can see here, I love when Abu Bakr takes off the hat. I don't know if he actually warranted that in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, he said a lot, he's done a lot. This is great. Chair.
No, we'll take that. We'll take that away from you.
Yeah. Just a mess. Just an absolute mess.
I love him. Like, how this guy has stayed, like, he's so relevant still. It's incredible. It's actually incredible.
Yeah, well, you can
Who was
see
he
it.
there actually watching? Who was he there supporting?
He was there. I know he's somewhat friendly with Rodolfo Vieira. I think he wanted to be at a UFC event. Alex Pereira was there. He wants to be where the where the action is happening. And maybe he was looking for trouble as well, but now he's been banned. And I guess the next time we'll see him is against Anthony Taylor. And you were involved in that. Are you going to be at that one?
No, I don't think. I don't think so. I'm not sure. Yeah,
okay.
That's actually a good fight because that's a MMA fight, right?
Yeah, it is an MMA. I mean, good.
That would actually be quite interesting.
Good is a bit of a stretch, but this is something. I mean, maybe any coffee involved in that one, or that was the one, right?
Yeah.
That was the one you were at, right?
Well, yeah, that's the one where oh my God, yes, years ago where Anthony Taylor punched him.
You didn't put two and two together.
I know. Sorry, it's been a long day.
It has been a long day. It has been a long day. Much love. This is so great. Thanks for making some time. We still love you here, all right? Despite the fact that you left us high and dry for greener pastures, we're still here doing our thing.
Never.
Little engine that could. The #1 unbiased platform in all of combat sports, and you're always welcome.
Agreed.
You're always welcome.
Agreed.
Thank you, Ade. Great job this weekend.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
you. The great Ade Oladipo. Check out his YouTube channel. Does a great job there. His podcast as well, and all the work over on DAZN. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.